Hi everyone, today I'm at the beautiful church of St Helens, which is in Llanellen. The church is dedicated to St Helen, a 4th century Welsh princess, who has several churches dedicated to her here in Wales. In this video, I will take you for a walk around this lovely graveyard, have a look at the inside of the church and talk about some of its rich history. Later on, we will have a closer look at some of the gravestones and find out a little bit more about who is actually buried here. So here we are at one of the entrances to the graveyard. This church has no lynch gate. The one thing that strikes you straight away is this very unusual tower that the church has. There has been a church here since the 12th century, back when it was a wooden Celtic church. It was rebuilt by the Normans, but very little is left of that, and it was reconstructed by the Victorians, who added this rather unusual Gothic bell tower. Now to me, this looks really strange, because it's the kind of thing you'll find on top of a cathedral, not just like on a regular church. It literally looks like it's been chopped off a different building and just stuck on here. The only thing I will say is it does give this church a very big uniqueness to it, because I've never seen one like this before. Now interestingly, on all 4 corners of the tower there is carved figurines, and these represent Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, and you can see the lion and the bull. And round the other side we have the man, but unfortunately in the last corner the eagle is missing, and the eagle would have represented John. I think I found this inside the church, like on the floor, so hopefully they're going to fix this one day. Inside the tower there's 2 bells made in the 17th century. They were both recast in 1922. Now my job as the church tourist is to find unusual things that you might not even notice. You will probably walk straight past these things. So for anyone who hasn't seen this before, this is an Ordnance survey benchmark. I went online and checked the serial number, and this was put here in 1957. Now for those of you who don't know what a benchmark is, you can ask Google and it will tell you all about it. But if you'd like me to do a video about this subject, just let me know in the comments, because benchmarks are found everywhere in this country, especially on old churches, and I find it fascinating. And once you know about them, you'll keep finding them everywhere. So we'll have a look inside the church now. I came here on a Sunday and there was actually a meeting going on, so I waited till it finished, then came in. I've cut the sound out to take away all the voices. There's a really nice altar here with some lovely carving, and the window's quite simple, but as we see again, we've got Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. I didn't find any of St Helen in this church, which was a little bit disappointing. The church is in a great condition. I think that's due because it's still used every Sunday, and I think the services start at 9:30. There appears to be 2 fonts here. I'm not quite sure about the history of that. Apparently, a few years ago, there was a fire here. I think they said it was in 2023. It got started by an electrical fire in the vestry, and that literally burnt the roof down, and they've replaced that since then. But luckily, it was noticed and put out very quickly. And, you know, this beautiful ceiling here, like a wagon style, would have been ruined if the fire would have spread. So it does look like God might have actually saved this building. Now, because they'd just finished their meeting, I didn't want to stay around too long because they wanted to lock up. But they were very friendly inside this church. And it was about, I'd say, 10 or 12 people at the congregation. And it was a lady vicar that did the service. Coming to this window, this side is so much nicer than the altar side, which is a bit strange because you would think the special window would be by the altar. I'm going to head back outside now and we'll have a look at some of these interesting gravestones. Like the church itself, this graveyard is in a fantastic condition. It's actually 8-time winner of Gwent's best kept churchyards. So unlike most graveyards I visit, this one is so well kept, I thought I'd show you a few of the more interesting gravestones. And there's plenty here. And the first one to catch my eye was this war grave. This is Leonard James Fencott. He was a leading aircraftman. Died 29th of May 1945 and he was aged just 31. He actually has 2 other family members that are buried here in this graveyard. They were buried here back in the 1960s. This is a nice looking grave, and it has the symbol for IHS, which symbolises Jesus, and it reads, "In loving memory of Emma, the beloved wife of John Lynch, who departed this life February the 19th, 1914, aged 32. And the inscription reads, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." A lot of the gravestones you'll find are totally unreadable. This one, I can't even pick one word out. This wonky looking one's very interesting and quite sad. It has the symbol of the hand shaking, which normally signifies a man and wife join each other, but not always. So this one reads, "In loving memory of Arthur Davies, who died at Little Kevin Coed, Llanellen, December 31st, 1918, aged 27. Also of Thomas Davies, his father, died June the 4th, 1892, aged 46. Also of Edith Jane, daughter of Thomas Davies, died March 17th, 1901, aged 26. And Sarah, and I think it says MM, died March 21st, 1891, aged just 13. And the inscription says, "Peace, perfect peace." Now, I had to read this gravestone a few times to make sense of it because it's a bit like back to front. But Thomas Davies was obviously the father of these children. And the first guy mentioned was Arthur, who died at 27. So he must have just been 1 year old when his father died. And it also looks like his other 2 daughters died really young. And the youngest one, Sarah, who was only aged 13, she died in 1891, just 1 year before the father died. So it wouldn't surprise me if he died of a broken heart. Strangely enough, there's no mention of a mother on this grave. Somewhere in the graveyard, there lies the body of Sir Thomas Phillips. Now, he was buried with some iron railings around him, and there's quite a few different ones here, so I didn't know which one it actually was. I couldn't find him. But he was a Welsh lawyer, politician, and a businessman. He was also the mayor of Newport in Monmouthshire at the time of the Newport Rising back in 1839. He died on the 26th of May 1867, and because he was a local man, he was buried here. I found 3 gravestones in a row with the same symbol, which is of the weeping willow. The weeping aspect of the willow signifies sorrow and loss. It can also be connected to immortality, like the yew tree. Talking of yew trees, I found 3 in this graveyard, and there's a really nice one that we'll look at later. But there's 2 other ones, like this one here, that appears to be butchered. I don't know what's happened. I don't know why they've done this. There must be a good reason, hopefully. Hidden behind the yew is this next lovely grave, and it reads, "In loving memory of Henry Jenkins, of the Dovefrin, who departed this life April 9th, 1913, aged 54 years. And it reads, "With Christ, which is far better." Also of Jane, beloved wife of the above, who departed this life April the 4th, 1944. Rest in peace. Also of their son, Horace, died 20th of June, 1970, aged 63 years. So it appears that the dad died when his son was only about 5 or 6. His wife died 31 years later. As we can see, there's a lot of very interesting old gravestones here, but there's also people getting buried to this day, and there's quite a lot of these new ones. And there's one grave here that's really important. We're going to have a look at that now. So underneath the shade of this lovely yew tree lays Private Richard Hunt. He was the 200th man to be killed in Afghanistan. Now, because I visit a lot of churches, I often see old war graves, but not so often you find a modern one. Richard was born on the 23rd of August 1987, and his death was in the 15th of August 2009, so just before his 22nd birthday. He was part of the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Welsh Regiment, and his inscription says, "Died in the arms of those he loved, son, brother, friend, our Welsh warrior, 200th to fall in Afghanistan." And I'll add a couple of photos so we can actually put a face to this hero.